Hi, hello, it's me again. I don't remember how to start my videos anymore, but I also don't know whether or not I'm gonna do a drama video this week because I low-key can't be fucked. But I do have a few things that I want to talk about, but I don't know if I have enough to actually talk about for a full video. I've seen a lot of more new small businesses popping up, a lot of them run by really young people, including 12-year-olds, which is fun and fresh. But I mean, do whatever you want with your business. But I see these videos where it's watch me package an order or some shit like that, which is again all fun and fresh, and then I see them put two small ass items, they'll be selling rings or some shit, so they'll put two rings into a big ass box. So the majority of the box is literally just filling random ass crunched up paper, some newspaper, some funkily cut up paper. It's all just paper or bubble wrap or some shit like that. And it's bro, you're selling rings, you don't need that much cushioning, just send them a small package with the two rings. Big packaging for small items is just, I don't know why it angers me so much. It's just so much wasted space, and it's you literally don't need it. What are you, because we're all just going to throw out all the shit in it after we get it, except for the products that you actually sell. So I don't know why you're giving us so much paper and plastic for us to just throw away when you could just not do that. Also, Instagram. I know it's been a while since the new update or whatever, or whichever update kind of fucked everything up, but oh my god, I know we've all spoken about the weird layout of where your notifications are, and then your explore page, and then reels, and actually posting, and it's just so fucking weird. And that shop thing, literally nobody shops on Instagram. Name one person that shops on Instagram. Literally nobody. So we all know that shit, right? But then you make your way onto the explore page, and everything's you have to be, you know what I'm talking about when you're scrolling on the explore page and it has to be post, and then you kind of scroll and then it automatically goes to the next post to the top. You know what I mean? That shit is annoying as fuck, because what happens is you'll scroll up and it'll be a post that's kind of small, and then the next video starts playing. I don't want the next video to be playing. I don't want to mute it either, because what if I want to watch it later? Even if I don't want to watch that video after I finish reading this post or whatever, I don't want it to play, because that's still a distraction. Just stop. Why would you do that? You ruined your app. You ruined your app. And for what reason? That weird scrolly thing doesn't benefit anyone. It's not you're making more money from that. I mean, maybe you are. Maybe playing the sponsor after it is making you more money. But honestly, just stop. Just stop. Also, I feel if you're gonna give us the option to have themes for our chats, at least make them pretty, because I want to have a pretty theme, because the default theme is fucking ugly. But then I change it to something else and it's all just kind of bland. And honestly, the monochrome theme is the most exciting thing in there.
I go to strike a pose in my full-length mirror. I cross my legs just like a queen, but my libido is strong when a lady is near. Yeah, oh, what defines a straight man straight? Is it the boxer in the brief or a 12-ounce steak? Nah, I tell you what a woman loves most. It's a man who can slap but can also stroke.
Going in the wind as an empty of the truth that it's naked. It's verbatim and it's shaking. Na 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 na. No more getting elated. No more listless invitations.
I live by a hospital, and every day I go out walking past the sickly windows.
Also, another thing, which is more of a bigger thing that I want to talk about, but I'm gonna use an example because I'm annoying. But essentially what happened is Corpse tweeted out a blank tweet, and essentially the purpose, which he didn't tell his fans, was that he wanted to see how much hate he could get for tweeting literally nothing. And one of the responses that he got was obliterate white man please, and a Corpse deleted tweets repost account reposted him quoting that tweet, which he later deleted because obviously people were going to send hate to that person. But then somebody commented under that saying, the fact that Corpse isn't even white, some of y'all on here really do no research. To which I said, he is though, half Hispanic doesn't make him not white. And a little correction here, I don't even know if he's half Hispanic, he might be less than half, but But that's what I wrote. And somebody else commented under that saying, hey, let's not do the whole mixed people aren't POCs thing. It's incredibly harmful. And I said, race is entirely about physical appearance. It's got nothing to do with your actual ethnicity. White people can come from the same countries where people of color come from, and corpse just happens to be one of them. I'm gonna admit here that my wording was pretty shit, because me saying it's got nothing to do with ethnicity allows people to kind of be like, how are you not gonna say that ethnicity has a factor in your race? Which obviously it does, but what my point is that you don't have to know somebody's ethnicity to know their race, and sometimes their ethnicity goes like against their race in a way. I think with the response, race is about your actual ethnicity though. You can't always tell what somebody's race is just by looking at them. Just wanted to point that out. Which I guess is kind of true in some cases where the person is biracial. But even then, that's not really an ethnicity thing. That's more of just like they seem this mixed with this, so I can't really tell between the two, in which case they're probably just both. And somebody else also said, so what you're saying is that despite my dad being fully black, if he didn't meet your melanin count, he would be white. Make that make sense. You don't even know what corpse looks like, so you can't call his race then. No one uses white versus POC without using ethnicity as a factor. And this entire thing is a mess. I feel like this tweet I am very much allowed to bully. Not only did they start off by using the wrong your, they tried to at least like imply, or like not imply, but they tried to use their dad an example of saying, if my dad wasn't dark enough, then you're saying that he wouldn't be black, which like shouldn't be a thing that happens, I guess, like except for like albino black people, but like you can still tell that they're black, right? And I'm gonna get into like the whole physical appearance thing. And then she says, you don't even know what corpse looks like, so you can't call his race then, which like is true to a certain extent. But not only did he have like his like white tee cover picture thing, but he's also had like other pictures of him like at like his body, not his face obviously. He's had a picture of him like at the mountains, I'm assuming with Mikey. He's had that white tee thing. He's had his body shown like in the Anthony Padilla video. And from those together, he seems very quite white. He's also said himself that he's white. Granted, he did say that he was partially like Mexican or something, but that doesn't mean that he's not like just because like some of his family members come from Mexico, and he did say that it was a small portion of his family that were brown, that doesn't mean that he's not white.
Genesis, what is your ethnicity? I guess technically I don't look Hispanic, but I am. I'm Italian, white, Spanish, Portuguese, Mexican, and Irish. Just a ton of things. I'm white, but like, I don't know.
And then nobody uses white versus POC without using ethnicity as a factor. That's just not true. You could like look, okay, use me as an example. You could look at me and say straight up with confidence, I am Asian. You don't need to know what I am. You don't need to know where I come from. You don't need to know where my parents come from. You don't need to know what semen cell from what ball sack went into what egg to know what I am. It's not very difficult to look at somebody like me and determine that they are Asian. You don't need me to tell me, oh, I'm like Filipino, I'm Chinese, I'm like Korean. You don't need me to tell you that. And I could tell you that I'm mixed with something else. At the end of the day, I'm Asian. I can't walk into an audition for like a movie or something and try and convince them that I can play a white person or a black person's role. I could, however, walk in and convince that person to put me in a role of an Asian person. Even if I am mixed with something else, even if I'm only half Asian, even if there's still a very large portion of me that is not related to Asia in any way, I'm still Asian. And then also, ethnicity has nothing to do with nationality. Coming from a certain country has nothing to do with your ethnicity or race. You can't entirely use race to mean physical without sounding stupid, since you'd be calling POCs white based on your bias. The first half, they really had it going. Ethnicity, race, and nationality are three completely different things. Then they went on to say you can't entirely use race to mean physical without sounding stupid, but the thing is, they sent me this link, which proves my point that race is physical characteristics that define a person as being a member of a specific group, whereas ethnicity is cultural characteristics that define a person as being a member of a specific group. So you determine race by looking with your eyes at somebody's skin color, hair color and texture, eye color, facial features, physical build. Ethnicity is about language. People think he's Hispanic because he speaks Spanish. Accent, religion, style of dress, hairstyles, social customs, food and dietary preferences or restrictions. I would also add in there more like family related stuff, like just general like bloodline kind of things. But that table covers it. But that person's entire issue with making race a physical thing is that it's about your bias, which like it essentially is. It's just about like people's biases when you look at somebody and you're just basing off what you know about that race. It is a bias, but it's something that usually people can agree on because it's usually pretty straightforward. And I feel like that sparked a whole argument, and it was just like a whole bunch of people being angry at me because I said that corpse is white. If you look at the evidence, the reason that people think he is brown is because he said that a part of his family is from Mexico, and because he speaks Spanish. But on the other hand, he has said that he is white. He looks white from the pictures that we have of him. And he has also cleared up that him being brown is more of a small section of his ethnicity more than it is about his race. I don't know what kind of diversity quota you're trying to fill by like trying to argue or make corpse white. I don't know what kind of Lana Del Rey BS you're trying to do there. But if every like person that you're a fan of is white to the point where you have to try and argue that a white person can count as a brown person, just like start being fans of people of color. Like, I don't like, if you're trying to fill a diversity quota, which is a bad enough thing on its own, just like actually fill it. You know what I mean? I kind of understand that he said it in the way that was like, I'm like, why? But like also like I'm also a bit of this, like kind of like ashamed of like not being spicy. But it's just like who you are. I don't know why white people have such a thing with like them being white, but also like wanting the people that they're fans of to not be white. I thought we all collectively agreed that Woah Vicky was an absolute clown. It's like the reverse when people of color all wanted to be white in like primary and intermediate school and also high school and also maybe now, because like that's always been like the beauty standard and what's acceptable. But now white people are like, I want to be spicy, I don't want to have privilege anymore, I don't want to live comfortably in this world that I'm living in that's made for me, so I want to be kind of racially ambiguous. Like this, like, just stop. Literally just stop.
I see people dying there, but my tender age makes it hard to care. The incinerator and the big smokestack, it's a phallic symbol and it makes me laugh. All I need is a heart attack. Come on, humble my bones with a cardiac.
Also, another thing, Charli D'Amelio has been very socially active during this pandemic, and I'm seeing a lot of discussion around like her age, like, oh, she's only 16, and like the whole like trip to wherever the fuck she went with her family. Like her family admitted that they essentially like forced her into it, I guess, because you know she's not gonna have much say as a 16-year-old in a family trip. But like, she chose to go to the party still. Like, I hope we're not forgetting the fact that she still partied during the pandemic. And also, why are we not getting mad at the entire family? Because honestly, ew. But she and Dixie, Charli and Dixie D'Amelio, went partying during the pandemic more than once, and we're all just supposed to continue liking her because apparently she's nice, and her only fault is being a bit too egotistical. But that makes sense because she blew up at a really young age. And she's still spreading love instead of hate. Like, she's spreading corona is what she's fucking spreading. But, like, I need everyone to stop acting as if, like, teenagers are dumb. Because that's what you're essentially saying. Like, oh, she couldn't process that in her head hundreds of thousands of people have died because of this thing. And her going partying is only going to worsen this thing, which could then kill so many more people. And also that she's in, like, a hot spot for this thing. And also everyone around her doing the thing that she's doing is being criticized, and therefore it is not a good thing. Like, she's not a fucking idiot. I mean, maybe she is, but like, she knows that partying during a pandemic and spreading a deadly disease is bad, right? While everyone else is quarantining and hasn't gone outside for weeks or months on end, but she gets to go out and barely get criticized for it because she's 16. 16-year-olds have brain cells. She's not incapable of human thought and empathy. Like, could she, like, at the very least, not think to herself, I had an issue with my nose where I couldn't really breathe for it, so I got surgery for it, so now I can finally breathe properly and it feels good. But there are people dying from this thing that I am essentially helping spread that are struggling to breathe so badly that they have to go to hospital. Like, can she not empathize in that way at the very least? Like, Charli D'Amelio, look at, like, her entire thing is influencing young kids, right? Because everyone's deemed her as this very positive, loving kind of influencer, and her audience is primarily children. So when she spreads the message that doing this kind of shit is okay, like, the first response should be hold her accountable, right? Obviously there's room for improvement. Like, that's why she's 16. Like, she's got an entire life ahead of her. I feel like that should be the only way in which her age is, like, squeezed into this equation. Not, oh, this is okay because she's kind of young. I'm also going to need somebody to make like long-lasting oat milk because oat milk fucking slaps. That shit is so good, but as soon as you open it, you have about 3 days to finish it before the entire carton goes bad. And that is not okay. So if anyone knows any science behind how plant milks work, I'm going to need you to make oat milk that lasts longer than like 3 fucking days. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, if you liked me, make sure to like and subscribe. If you didn't like me, make sure to get in contact with my teachers because I bet you have a lot in common, and make sure to stay safe and stay hydrated.
Going in the wind is an anti of the truth and it's naked. It's for